Hello and welcome back to Hoovy and Espresso. It's been quite a while since my last video. I have been away. I did intend to try and upload something in between, but it didn't really come to work. Basically what I was going to do while I was away was do this. I was going to review this recently released Doctor Who magazine collection from the Doctor Who magazine. It's actually the Target Book Special Edition. And I thought I might do that while I'm away, but then it occurred to me, why do I review this? Mainly because the magazine's always been something a bit hard to review, really, in a way, because you don't want to reveal too much. And then that inspired me to do this video, but I wasn't going to do it straight away. I was going to have a bit of a break before, because I have school. I have to start school again, and it's going to be quite stressful. It always is at first, at the start of the year. So I wasn't going to do anything for a while. I had maybe a couple of reviews or something planned, but I was going to take it easy for a while, just getting into it. But yesterday, something quite tragic happened, and it was the death of one of Target's probably most prolific and well-known author, Terrance Dicks. And Terrance Dicks has contributed a lot to Doctor Who. He wrote The Five Doctors. He also was script editor on so many different Doctor Who stories. He's done such a great commitment to Doctor Who over the years, and one of the things he's by far well known for is obviously getting these books out and writing these from the very beginning, from the very early days of these books. He didn't write the original Wave, which came out like way back before, but he wrote for the Target reprint range that came out, and then went on to record more. Sorry, Project Frame just dropped there for no reason. But he contributed probably the most to this, and he's obviously well known and well associated with these books, not only because they're so popular, because they're Doctor Who related books, but because in many ways I think and it was very different back then, I think, in the 70s and 80s and 90s, before BBC did VHSs or any home media releases. So really these books were the only thing a lot of people had related to Doctor Who at the time, apart from the Doctor Who annuals. But these were very popular at the time. I believe, I read in this actually, they sold over 8 million copies at one point, which is really impressive actually. But yeah, I thought I would do my Target collection to my Target book collection. I know it's not really as big as many people. Some of them have a whole lot, but I thought now more than any to dedicate a video to such an amazing man whose contribution to Doctor Who is so vast. I think today was by far the best day to do it, to document his work and immortalise it forever, because I think he deserves that, because he really did do a lot for Doctor Who and really shaped the show into the show that it is today in a way, really. He was very heavily contributed to a lot of it. So I wanted to say thank you to Terrance Dicks. He may not be with us anymore, but I hope in some way you can hear the mass fan appreciation for your work. And I know there's been a lot on Twitter, there's been a lot of people talking about how tragic his loss was, but I just want to take a moment just to say well done, and I hope that whatever's next for you is good, and that everything's okay. Yeah, but it is, what you've done here is amazing, and I don't even have a fraction of it, and I really hope that he is remembered. So yeah, Terrance Dicks, everyone. But the first one, I'm going to talk about this fantastic Doctor Who magazine special edition. The Doctor Who magazine have really outdone themselves this year. 2 great special editions, something I think a lot of people have wanted for a while, is a special edition dedicated to the Target book. It really accurately gives a sort of overview of the Target range. There's so many great articles and interviews. I think there might even somewhere be an interview with Terrance himself. Let's see. I think there is somewhere. Let's have a look. I can't remember what page it was, but there was definitely something, if I remember rightly. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. There is in fact an interview with Terrance Dicks, the author, and there's one of his books that he wrote, The Giant Robot. There's so many great, it's really, of all the Doctor Who special editions, this has by far been one of the ones that is unmissable. I believe it's still out. That's one of the reasons why I was a bit hesitant to do a review of it, because I'm not sure if it's out. But yeah, DWM have really outdone themselves this year, and Panini Magazines with 2 great special editions. I really like the costume design one as well, and this is just above and beyond. But now I'm going to move on to the actual collection, which includes some of the new range releases, as well as some of the original vintage novels and some signed ones, which can be exciting. So let's get into the video, and if you have made it this far and you're excited and you're new here, why don't you subscribe down below. If you like this video, like it, and we'll get on. So, to start off with, this is one of the very first Target novels, I believe, and it is Doctor Who and the Daleks. A lot of these I've got in jumble sales and charity shops. I think this one I got in Norfolk while I was away, on a camping trip or something. But a couple of the early novels like this one's got these. If you look at that, that's the same illustration from the cover of that Doctor Who magazine special edition. I mean, it's not in the best of condition, but this is from the first couple of releases, actually. I think this is the Target reprint of this release, because there was actually an original copy released way back in the 60s, which I think I mentioned before. But one of the things I do love about the Target novels is the great artwork. And I remember reading in the magazine, the artist for this, I think it was like, I can't remember his name now, something Arcellos. I can't remember his first name, that's my lesson. But I do love these artworks. He referred to them as design rather than artwork, but don't discredit yourself, that's amazing. I would pay a lot of money to be able to do something like that. It's really quite stunning. I love the cartoon Daleks, and I love this novel overall. I think it's one of my most read ones. I've read this quite a few times. A lot of these I haven't read, mainly because I'm not so keen on the story in the first place, but there are a few that I liked in the first place, and there's a couple that I've never seen before that I like the novelisation. There's only a couple I haven't read. That's mainly because I didn't like the story, but yeah. This is a great novel, actually. It's actually nice little bits of history, because it's one of the first Target novels, and you know, it might not be in the best condition. I mean, look at that. But yeah, it's nice to have a copy of one of the very first Doctor Who books. So yeah. The next one I have here is Doctor Who Marco Polo. This looks like a later release, but it's actually the first missing story, the first actual full story that we haven't got in the archive. I went through a bit of a period of trying to get the missing novels because the audio soundtracks are ridiculous, and the animations are coming, but like they're taking ages. I mean, Macro Terror is good. I've watched the animation plan. I quite like that. I haven't done a full review of it. I almost did, but I get these things in a weird order. It depends, because these things are always released at times that aren't really convenient for me. Like, I'd rather wait until like my birthday or Christmas or whatever. So I get like stuff like the Blu-rays and so on in a bit of an odd order. The season 10 one was quite a happy accident, I'm not going to lie, that came out at a good time for me to be able to film it. But yeah, Marco Polo. Thankfully though, the season 26 box set, which has just been announced today, is coming out just in time for Christmas, like 2 days before, so I'm quite excited about that. But yeah, I like this novel. I've read this one a couple of times too. I took this one to Rome, actually, when I went on holiday. It's a great story. I think I'm kind of sad this one hasn't been animated yet. We haven't seen any historical Doctor Who stories, and I really like the historical ones, and we're not getting them animated, and I'm kind of worried the BBC are going to skip over them, which is making me a bit worried, because I really want to see this one animated. But I love this. I like the friendship between Susan and this character. I can't remember her name now, because I haven't read this novel in a while. But it's a very good story, actually. I'm really surprised that it hasn't been animated yet, because you think it being the first missing classic story, we'd have an animation of it by now. But just have it. I mean, I think it's the only story missing from series 1 of the first season of Classic Who now. So you'd think they'd want to animate that so they could get a season 1 collection out. I don't know. You know, that's something that I would have thought would have happened by now, but clearly not the BBC's top priorities at the moment. We have another one of the, I think this is from the first sort of wave of releases, because they've done, I think, this means the only one that I'm missing from the first sort of wave of releases, because I did 3, is The Crusaders, but I've got a re-release of that one anyway, so I'm not going to get that unless I see it. But this is Doctor Who and the Zarbi, in slightly better condition, if I'm honest. It's got the slightly thicker Doctor Who logo rather than the diamond one, which we'll get to. This one I haven't read, because it was in great condition and I didn't really want to ruin that. It's a lovely art cover though. I also am not a big fan of this story. I don't think Eddie was really a big fan of this story. The visuals are very hard to cope with if you've never watched Classic Who before. But this one's from Oxfam, you see. I support charities. I don't know how much did this one cost me? This one cost me £2.50. I daren't rub out the little charity shop thing because it really, I don't want to like tear the paper or anything. But I love these little illustrations. They didn't do many of these like this actually. I think there was just the first couple and a couple of the releases later on. I think they kind of styled the 20, was it? I guess it was 2080 last year. The Target re-releases, well, Target was not Target re-releases. Target, the new Target books that they did for the new series. I've got the whole lot there, but they sort of modelled these on these earlier covers rather than later ones that we've got. But I really like the sort of sparkly effect, and the nice little dotted illustrations of the Doctor is really nice, and it does look very dynamic. And I think it's nice how, although we're trying to go for with keeping them all in line with a nice sort of uniform look, which us Whovians love, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I've not read this novel because I really find this story, I think a lot of fans find this story quite hard to cope with, and it's a very, like compared to most Target books, it's actually a lot thicker. I usually get through them within a couple of days, but I don't know if I could cope with a couple of days of R.I.P again. I sat through it once, I watched it, and I just can't watch it again. So this is Doctor Who and the Crusades. This was a re-release, which I read through the entire thing and I absolutely adored it. It's actually a really good story. Again, another historical, which probably won't get animated. Even though there's only like 2 episodes, I'm just like, come on. Like, even if it's animated, just put it on the collection. You don't have to give it a single release. But we need to see these historicals animated because they're such an essential part of what Doctor Who's foundations, Doctor Who's ethos at the start of the show was as a form of education. And I think the historicals from the 60s are so often looked over as so boring, but there's a lot of them. I mean, The Crusade was way more enjoyable, I think, in this novelisation alone than Doctor Who and the R.I.P. But that's not been animated, but you know what I mean. I think I'd far rather see Marco Polo animated than the Faceless ones, if I'm honest. I mean, I've read the novel for the Faceless ones, as you're about to see, and I don't mind it. I thought it was quite fun, but I would far rather have Marco Polo. I know I shouldn't really complain, because I should be grateful I'm getting any kind of animated release at all, but, you know, it would be nice, you know, to get these historicals animated, because they are such an important part of Doctor Who history. And it's a great novel here. Yeah. That one's by David Whittaker. I don't think the first few ones aren't by Terrance, but we'll get to him, I'm sure. Okay, here we go, Terrance Dicks. We've also starting the second Doctor era, and this is the Faceless ones, and I was just talking about it, I know. But that's by Terrance. This is one of his many books. He really did do a lot of them, I mean, quite a lot. It's a shame I didn't get to get his autograph. I always planned, because I always hoped that one day he'd do a book signing or something, and I'd be able to get some Target novels signed, but alas, it was not to be. Oh yeah, I've read this twice, but I didn't finish it the second time. But yeah, as I said, I quite like that one. It's not the best one. It's a bit of a weird ending for Ben and Polly, if I'm honest, but I think the BBC are being very heavy towards animating monster episodes, and this is obviously a very easy one to animate because the Faceless ones. But I want to see Fury of the Deep at the least from the monster ones. Like, I don't know, why did we get Faceless ones before Fury of the Deep? Like, come on, everyone wants Fury of the Deep now. But this is a great novel. I've read it 1.5 times. I've read it 1.5 times. I'll have to finish it for the second time again at some point. I'll restart it before the animated release comes out. But yeah, it's a lovely cover there. The plane and the TARDIS dematerialising there. It's really nice. Okay, this is a long segment. I thought I'd just shove the first Doctor and the second Doctor to one segment. I don't know how well it's going, but the Tomb of the Cybermen, a very well known second Doctor story, and this one's got, I hate these post-it notes. This one is the infamous Tomb of the Cybermen one with the invasion invasion helmet. And apparently, I found out in the book, in that magazine, the only reason it's that one is because he thought the actual Tomb of the Cybermen heads, they looked awful apparently. I quite like them. I mean, I'm not too keen of the oversized headphone look, but I think it works better on the Earthshock and Silver Nemesis Cybermen. But this one looks a bit odd, if I'm honest. But he didn't like the look of the Tomb one, so he put that one on instead, which doesn't really make much sense, but at least it's nice to have an answer on that all these years later, even though I wasn't even there when this was published. Let's see, when was this one published? It's fun. Let's see when this was published. 1978. You know, when you're a sad little boy who collects books from 1978. But oh well. So that's the diamond look that I was trying to get to earlier, but the diamond cover one here, which is The Enemy of the World. And this is funny because it's written by Ian Marter, who of course played Harry Sullivan, the imbecile. Yes. In season 12, with the first series with Tom Baker, along with Elizabeth Sladen, may she rest in peace, as Sarah Jane, in her second series, I think it was. This is The Enemy of the World. I'm not sure if I read this one. I bought a bundle of them a while back, or quite recently, I can't remember, it was a while back. And then I filtered through the ones I really wanted to read, and I think it was sometime during the Twitch live stream, and I just watched this one, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll pick it up another time, but maybe that'll be after I finish. I'm reading one at the moment that I bought just before I went on holiday, which is because I went to Paris. I actually ended up reading The City of Death, as you'll soon find out. But there's Enemy of the World, and I'm going to end it there because this segment, and this is only the first 2 Doctors that we've covered, and it's already at 11 minutes, so we're going to rush through the next ones hopefully. There's a lovely piece of artwork there that's absolutely stunning. And he actually, I believe, Ian Marter used a swear word controversially in this book, so we'll have to read that at some point. Okay, getting into the third Doctor's era, we have Doctor Who and the Space War by Malcolm Hulk. Yeah, this one's quite a good story, I'm not gonna lie. I like this one, but it does seem to drag halfway through, if I'm honest, because they keep on going back and forth and doing the same thing. There's a good concept there, but it's sort of overstrung a bit in the middle. It's a bit like the Daleks, where they end up doing the same thing over and over again. But yeah, there's a lovely cover there. I do like that one, with the nice sort of draconian there, and the ogre on, which I thought I had a different, or was watching a different story when I started watching that. But there's a nice shuttle ship. I really do like these. This is a nice comic booky style one. This sort of moved away from the sort of dotted pattern ones to these more illustration ones, which are just as nice. But I personally prefer the arch yellows. But this little target and all the like, I keep forgetting about that little symbol. But yeah, there's the Space War. That's exciting. I'm slowly building up a pile there. I'm scared it's going to fall down, like dominoes or whatever. Moving on, we have. Oh, this is a fragile one. This is another Terrance Dicks one. This is Doctor Who and the Planet of Spiders. This is obviously quite a very handled with care. So I got this and it's really fragile. So I don't think I've read this one, but I want to. There's a spider on it. Sorry if I scared you guys. I know there'll be a few people who are scared of spiders, because I am, and I picked this up once and turned that around and thought it was an actual spider. But this is quite a rare one, I think, because but the illustration is very different from the other ones, if I'm honest. This one and Giant Robot are very different sort of illustrations, if I'm honest. But this is quite nice. It's a bit, sorry, it's very vintage. As I said, I haven't read this one because the cover's almost falling off, so I didn't want to break that one. In fact, I get a bit nervous just holding it, if I'm honest. But I can't comment on that really, apart from the artwork, because I've never read it or watched it because I was too scared. Well, I don't know, maybe I'll watch it at some point. This is a funny one. We're going on to the first, this is one of my first ones that I got. Doctor Who and the Loch Ness Monster, or Doctor Who and Terror of the Zygons. This is another Terrance Dicks one, an amazing author. Sort of continuing the sort of theme from before, I guess. The lovely diamond logo there. I love this one. I've read this one so many times, you have no idea. This is one of the few ones that I've read just over and over again. This one's got Harry in, Harry the imbecile. Harry, everyone's making a bit of a fuss about Harry at the moment because his action figure's just come out from B&M. I'm just like, I got that and put it away for my birthday. I'm really excited about that. But that's a lovely illustration on the cover. Fun story. These were my first books. I bought a lot of 3. There's a third one which we'll get to in a minute. But I got this one and a couple of others which I'll mention in a minute, as I said. In a jumble sale at my dad's college, which is quite fun, I guess. They were all a bit surprised when I wanted to buy vintage books, but it was Doctor Who, so a lot of people weren't surprised at the same time. But I read these ones so quickly. Oh, this is such a bad condition, but I love it to bits. It's actually one of my favourite books. I think this is the first one I read because it's just such a dynamic cover. Look at that, Mr. Zygon. It's either just before or just after the 50th anniversary special, so that had just been announced that Zygons were coming back, or they just appeared. So I was really excited about that, and you know, I just love Harry, and I love the Doctor, and the Fourth Doctor, and I love Sarah, and they're just amazing in this. Like, this is my first introduction to that sort of TARDIS group. In fact, really to classic Who in general, really, and particularly the 70s. I've watched a couple of 60s stories actually. I've watched 60s stories first, actually, the black and white ones. Because when I said I want to watch classic Doctor Who, my mum's first thought went to, alright, we're going to go right back to the black and white ones and see if he actually is committed to this. And turns out he is, because he's got multiple shelves of, we've got 2 shelves of Doctor Who DVDs now. I haven't got all of them, but I've got most of them now. So it's a lovely cover, and I have such fun memories of reading this to my sleeping mother, actually. Roles reversed, I guess. Moving on, we have The Pyramids of Mars, another Terrance Dicks. As you can see, it's slowly getting into a lot of Terrance and Mr. Dicks. This one's an interesting one. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's quite a straightforward retelling, but it's quite nice. I preferred the original cover, but I found this one, and I wasn't going to turn down an opportunity to get Pyramids of Mars, which is one of my favourite classic stories. So it's quite nice. I think I definitely prefer. It's not the best Pyramids of Mars cover, if I'm honest, but nice to have a little documentation of that. Moving on, we also have The Planet of Evil, another Terrance Dicks one. The penultimate episode for Sarah Jane. I watched this one during the Twitch live stream, so I think I haven't missed this one, but very interesting cover there. I think this was a re-release, I don't know, it might not have been, but Sarah Jane's penultimate story, I believe. It certainly didn't have the great visuals in the actual episode, so maybe I'll give this novelisation a read at some point. As I said, I haven't read all of these. I read a good chunk of them. The Mask of Mandragora, which is actually probably the penultimate Sarah Jane story, actually, now that I think about it. Which came first? I'm not sure, because I don't, either I've got my books in the wrong order, or I've got them in the art. Because this one also features Sarah, so this may well be the penultimate Sarah Jane story. Interesting cover. I can't remember much about this one. I read it quite a while back now, but it's certainly a nice cover there. Definitely, that quite jumps off the screen, actually. That looks really nice on video. Tell me, like, when I finish this, like, when you finish watching this, like, tell me which one was your favourite cover, because I'd really like to know, actually. I think that would be a really fun thing to talk about. This is another one of the ones that I got in the bundle. This is Sarah Jane's last story, which I've only just recently watched on the Twitch live stream. It is The Hand of Fear. Again, I think there was a child who owned this before me, and that child kept it in worse condition than even I did, so I have something to be quite amusing there, because I probably got it when I was younger than that person. But this was 75p. I didn't do the pen marks, believe me, I didn't. You can see the pen marks there, and he got really badly kept fine there. Stop doing The Hand of Fear. That's by Terrance Dicks again. So you really can see how actually he did contribute quite a lot, and to so many well-known classic stories as well. Really, such an achievement. Again, Terrance Dicks. Robot Operation. The Robot Operation. Now this one was a bit of a slow read. I think I liked this story better when I actually watched it. I read this one first. But this is by Ian Marter again. I'm not so keen on these covers, these particular ones. I think they did these in the same style, sort of, as a couple of other releases, like the Image of the Fendal. I haven't yet to read the novelisation of the Image of the Fendal. I watched it during the Twitch live stream, and it was certainly interesting. I did like Image of the Fendal, actually. But this is an interesting novel in the fact that that looks nothing like it did in the actual show, that monster there. It looks like a sort of moss, which I always thought was a bit odd, and never could imagine what was actually on screen at the time. And then there's the Doctor. That's quite a nice portrait of the Doctor there, I guess. I was reading about the actual paintings that they did for these. I'd love to own one of them. They're really, really, really expensive. Here we go. The Androids of Tara. Another 4th Doctor one from the Key to Time series. The Key to Time. I do like these illustrations. Along with, I think they're quite funny actually. These illustrations of Tom's expressions. Me and my mum made a couple of jokes about them and wondered what he was thinking or looking at, particularly during the Power of Kroll illustration. It's in the magazine. I don't own it, but I'd love to because it's actually so funny. But yeah, Key to Time. That's Androids of Tara, but you know, this is going to be quite a long video, so I hope you all are comfortable. This is the one I'm reading, City of Death. You'll learn a lot more about City of Death in the coming weeks. It's its 40th anniversary this year, on the 29th of September. A very well-known story and a well-loved, and I think a very deservedly loved story. Douglas Adams is an amazing sci-fi writer. He didn't actually write this novelisation, James Goss did there. He wrote the screenplay, and obviously the BBC wants to get some of that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy cash. But yeah, that's a really nice novelisation. As you can see, I'm reading it at the moment. It's actually a really nice one. I bought that along with Resurrection of the Daleks at a signing, which we'll get to in a minute. So here we go, Legopolis. Less dynamic cover illustration. I'm going to try and rush through these last few here. I really, as I said, I really liked Legopolis in the actual when it came out. I didn't quite feel it in the novelisation, but I did like it. You know, so. I read that at school. I took a lot of these in school. I kind of don't know if I should. And this is actually a really exciting one. This is a signed copy of The Visitation by Eric Sayward. As I said, I went on to the Resurrection of the Daleks signing. I got this signed, Resurrection of the Daleks, the new novel, Earthshock DVD and Visitation DVD. I got 2 copies of The Visitation signed by him. I really felt sorry for him at the end because everyone was making this. But there you go. The autograph by Eric Sayward there. That's one of the reasons. Another reason why I wanted to get to meet Terrance Dicks, because he's such an amazing person. He wrote so many others. We'd love to have his autograph along with Eric Sayward and so on, because they're both amazing writers. Honestly, they deserve more credit than they get. And then we have Frontios. I'm just gonna show that there because I haven't read it. I was planning to read it while I was on holiday. I took that and City of Death, but I didn't pick it up. But because I didn't finish City of Death because I was busy making something, which, as you'll see, soon enough. But yes, let's move on to the next segment. So moving on, we have my copy of Resurrection of the Daleks, the new novelisation. I have read this. It's a glorious adaptation. I really can't wait to see this story. Again, signed by the man himself, Mr. Eric Sayward. I'll show you that. I'm not so keen on the covers these releases, but it is a great novel. I highly recommend it if you're a collector of the Target range. It's a great novel to read. If you picked up the Pirate Planet edition, it might be quite good. They change a bit in this, I've heard. I've not watched it, but I've heard that they changed quite a bit in this one. Particularly in consideration of Tegan's departure, which is much more, I think it's better executed here. I've not seen the full story, so I can't really comment on how it's dealt with on the story, but he said he didn't really like the way he executed it in the story, so it's definitely very well done here, just as a consolation, I guess. Moving on, sorry, that pile that's threatening to fall over. We have my last actual proper Target release, and I don't know if it really counts as a proper Target release. I don't have any some Doctor Who's poor old McCoy. We have Mission to Magnus. I went through a phase of being obsessed with this series, the series that never was, The Nightmare Fair, Mission to Magnus. I can't remember the other ones. There was one about the Autons, Yellow Fever and How to Cure It, The Children of January, and some weird Planet of Evil or whatever. I don't think we have Planet. I think we already have a Planet of Evil, but this was supposed to be how Sil was returning. He returned later on in Mind Warp, and I'm going to see Mind Warp at the BFI. I am so excited, you guys. It's the day before my birthday, so I'm really excited. I'm going to see if I can try and get this signed, because I really want to build up a collection of signed Target stuff, because they're amazing. I love these books. But yeah, this is my only late 80s book. It's my only Colin book. I have one of his annuals but this is my only Colin actual, like, target novel. I ought to get some of the other ones. This one's got an Amazon sticker on it. Oh, that's annoying. I probably can't take that off now because you'll probably rip the back. So, yeah, there's a nice cover there, actually. It's not great, but it's quite nice there, with a little Magnus single. I quite like Mission to Magnus, actually, when I read this and listened to the audiobook. Kind of sad it didn't get made, because it's actually pretty decent. So now we move on to the new series stuff. We end up with Rose. I didn't go to the signing for this, but they had a couple of signed copies of not the ones that I wanted signed, if I'm honest. But this is Rose. It's not signed by Russell T Davies, rather unfortunately. But it is a great novel. This one and Day of the Doctor were better than the other two, if I'm honest. But that's a lovely novel. I love Nine, and I love Rose, and I love their interactions together. So this is basically a dream come true, because I really, really want more new series novelizations. I love these target novels to bits. I would beg on my hands and knees for more. I love them so much, these two Autons. It's a great story to adapt. It's the very first New Who story. A lot of new people can get into the target novels because it's a new beginning, and then they can start reading the other ones. And so I think one of the reasons why the target novels were released was to try and get more children to read. And I certainly started reading a lot more after I found these. I had a couple of target novels, but it only really sparked off after I got this. These recent releases, I got loads recently because of these. I started reading more and more. I know how to read and everything, but I only started reading a lot more because of these books, because I fell in love with reading again after these. I just thought, you know, what's exciting about it? And then I read Miss Peregrine's, and I read this, and I love those novels to bits. And with some Frederick Batman, I love a lot of Doctor Who books. I don't like the original fiction, but I love these Doctor Who novels. But yeah, there's Rose. I don't want to dwell on them too long because the boys will be here forever. This is the Christmas Invasion, but signed by Jenny T. Colgan. I wasn't there on the day, but they had a couple of left. And there's JTC's Coleman, I guess. JT Coleman's signature. That one's my favourite illustration of these lot, actually. I really like that one. It's very dynamic. And that nice moody picture of the 10th Doctor. Yeah, I really liked this one. I really like the Christmas Invasion. I think it's one of the better Christmas specials. I kind of feel like Twice Upon a Time and this one felt more like actual, like, normal target, like, you know, Terrance Dicks novels. Because they didn't write this story. Jenny T. Colgan didn't write that one, I believe Russell T. Davies did. But, it's a great story there. I do like that. The next one is Day of the Doctor, and this is a monster. I love this bits. I've read this loads since. I hated the story when this aired, but I love the novelisation so much. It makes up for the massive disappointment that the 50th anniversary special is. I think the main disappointment of the 50th anniversary special is it doesn't feel like a 50th anniversary special. It feels like a 10th anniversary special, and everything feels so overcrowded and everything feels rushed. But in this novel, they have time to take it slowly and to explain everything and have some fun with it as well. And I think that's why I love this one so much more than the broadcast version. Like, legit, I used to think Day of the Doctor was dirt beneath my feet. This is amazing. This is like pure gold to me. It's a great novel. It's so amazing. I absolutely loved that one. Moving on to our last sort of target novel, I guess. I don't know, should I talk about the annuals? Might do. I've only got two, so I might as well, from the classic era. There it is, Twice Upon a Time. Paul Cornell. I've got this one signed as well. There you go. There he is. Great effort, Mr. Paul Cornell, just saying. You could just surrender best wishes. I'm not being I'm sorry, I'll be a bit fussy. This one seems a bit like the cover's a bit sort of cheaper, it feels. I don't know why. But it's a nice cover illustration there. 12, Bill, David Bradley, one of the Ice People. They wanted to put the caption on this. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't, because that picture of Bill is not actually accurate to this episode. What they should have done is they should have had the sort of merging First Doctor and 12th Doctor, and then had Bill and the Captain beneath, and then maybe the Ice Ladies beside. This is the only target novelisation that the cover that I'm not really like. Was a bit, yeah, but you can tell these are more based off the Arcello's covers if you look at the printing. Fine printing dots. I don't know if you can pick them up on camera really. Have a look, shall we? Let's see if we can get you focused. Well, I tried. It's not a photograph. It is actually. Well, I think these might be photographs, but the original ones were actual prints. Yeah, moving on. I brought this up just because it was on the shelf with you. This is a Titan Comics, Titan Books, Doctor Who scripts for Galaxy 4. It's not a target novel, but I thought I'd bring it out anyway, 'cause it's a nice cover there. I'm just going to bring out the Doctor Who annuals, and then I think we'll be about done. So, I just thought I'd bring these out quickly before the end of the video. I know it's been a long one. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. But I just wanted to talk about these because they're another bit of vintage, retro Doctor Who goodness, sort of related to target novels. And that's these Doctor Who annuals. And this is the first one with Tom Baker on. I only have 2 from the classic, or I have pretty much all the new series stuff. But this is the first one for Tom Baker from 1976. Yeah, a lovely dynamic picture of Tom there with the Doctor Who. The Doctor Who Annual 1976. Authorised edition as seen on BBC TV, or the old BBC logo. I don't know if anyone... I'd be really chuffed if any of my viewers remember when they used that logo. I know you... Yeah. So there's a lovely picture of Tom there. It's a great annual. There's some questionable art choices in it, but it's a very nice little thing. For the price I paid, it's in very good condition actually. And then there's a lovely picture of Tom on Bessie on the back there. Moving on, we have, of course, my only other annual. It is a Colin Baker one. Again, I'm going to try and get this and Mission to Magnus signed, if I can, at the BFI screening. I don't know if they do signings now. I don't know. But either way, I'm excited to go anyway. And this is the penultimate Doctor Who annual they released. A lovely picture of Colin there. I always feel sorry for Colin because he's quite loved and he deserves to be. Poor Colin. This is the 21st year anniversary edition. They really wanted... It's like Disneyland. They extended the 25th anniversary celebrations in Disneyland Paris an extra year, and for no good reason really. But it's the same here. 21st anniversary issue. You guys, you need to let go. Your anniversary year is over. Mind you, having said that, they could have done with some extra anniversary celebrations during Series 8, but that's just me. They probably shouldn't have regenerated it. I think there's something with Doctor Who and regenerating directly after our anniversary year that makes a lot of people lose faith in their show. Just saying. Well, I love Capaldi and I love Colin, but there's no denying that a lot of viewers turned off after both actors came onto the show, which is really sad because each Doctor deserves to be loved equally. So there you have it, all the glorious spines of my Doctor Who novel collection from the Target range mainly, and of course those Doctor Who annuals there. Lovely little collection there. I'm quite happy with this collection. It looks quite messy there, but also quite photogenic at the same time. Shall I just leave it there for a minute? Anyway, I'm just going to do the outro here because I'm comfortable now. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you want me to do next. I'm open to suggestions. I've got maybe a couple of reviews planned. We'll talk about that. I've got a couple of videos planned, so that's exciting. So subscribe if you want to know about what's upcoming, because there is a big thing coming that I'm very excited to put up. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and goodbye.